Malcolm, thanks very much. This is the final leg, so you can start to go to sleep now and have some lunch before we go. Thank you very much, Malcolm, for inviting me to come here today. All the Myplace centres I go around really impress me, and I will say that's the best Myplace centre I've seen. Well, again, I think today this is fantastic what goes on here. It's a real busy hub of all sorts of different activities. And I've just beaten the local MP at bowling as well, which has made me doubly satisfied about it. So I'm just really pleased that this event is taking place so we can share all the experiences and the good practice going on with Myplace centres up and down the country. That's what this is all about, because we are absolutely committed to doing as much as we can in difficult times to support, but importantly celebrate the achievements of young people. And what Myplaces are doing and what you are doing in those Myplace centres is absolutely crucial to that ambition. So I want to thank everybody who's involved with Myplace here today for what you are doing. Thank you for your hard work. And because of that, I think we are starting to see some real progress in Myplaces. 33 centres now up and running, and the 63rd and final centre due to open its doors next spring. And as always happens, I think, when individuals come together with real commitment and enthusiasm and energy, the sum ends up being much greater than the parts. And I know I speak on behalf of all my colleagues in government when I say that we are really proud to work on a programme that is doing so much to promote young people in a positive light and to try and improve positive perceptions of young people. Because I just think for too long, kids in this country have had a pretty raw deal from those who are older, but not necessarily always wiser. I think governments have sent out in the past perhaps mixed messages about teenagers, and the media seems to jump on any opportunity to trot out the usual unhelpful stereotypes and negative cliches. But I think Myplace centres provides a perfect tonic for the negativity surrounding young people by showcasing their skills, their talents, community spirit, and that's one of the reasons why I'm so pleased we've been able to help centres like the Showroom here. From day one, we were determined to support and celebrate the achievements of young people in a more imaginative way, and we worked hard to secure that additional £141 million investment needed for Myplace during one of the toughest, if not the toughest, spending rounds that the country has ever faced. And I think what we've emerged with is a more confident, more dynamic model of provision, thanks to years of work by a huge range of partners involved long before me: local councils, private companies, voluntary sector organisations, national government, the big lottery, and of course the real experts, young people themselves. And I want to take the opportunity straight away to thank the last government for, not something I always do, but to thank the last government for putting those building blocks absolutely in place for Myplace. Much as I'd like to, we can't claim to have come up with the idea of Myplace, but I do think everyone here can take real credit for the way that we've all turned a great concept into a great reality and now putting the physical building blocks in place on sites like this. From a personal perspective, I've been particularly pleased to see so many centres getting wired into their local communities, offering young people everything from bouldering to basketball. I don't know what bouldering is, but that's what they put in my speech. I asked what it was, but somebody will tell me afterwards. From music to mentoring, from careers counselling to creche facilities. And I've visited a lot of centres over the past 2 years, and almost invariably the best of them provide a real sort of Piccadilly circus of provision, brimming with activities, ideas and initiatives, and supported by a wide range of local partners. And I think Lincoln is a prime example of that, with staff here working alongside the college and the football club to train apprentices in sports, leisure, customer care. And on top of this, I know the Showroom is running the local Duke of Edinburgh award scheme, providing a base for young carers groups to meet up, and is very actively involved in the local National Citizen Service Consortium. Now, I'd encourage every journalist, politician, youth leader to beat a path to Lincoln to see for themselves how a shabby old Renault car showroom can be turned into a state-of-the-art, self-sustaining youth centre with now, I gather, over 2,000 young members, and all in the space of 3 short years. I think it's an incredible achievement, and one I hope that everyone here will take great pride in. For those of you who can't make it to Lincoln, though, I hope you'll take that invitation as an excuse to visit any one of the other 33 centres that have been opened so far. Every one, as I've seen, and I've visited a lot of them, is unique, but right around the country, Myplace is making an enormous difference in some of our most disadvantaged communities, acting as a hub for a wide range of services, from providing early help for young people before problems escalate, to dispensing employment advice, acting as a forum for teenagers to air their views, or a place where we can encourage genuine intergenerational contact. So looking to the future, we're keen to make sure centres can learn from each other, and I expect to see you all cherry-picking each other's centres' ideas shamelessly. Whether that means copying the New Horizons fantastic programme to support homeless young people, whether it means engaging directly with children in care, as we see in Knowsley, or working with sporting organisations as they're doing so brilliantly in Harrow with Watford Football Club. Now, today's conference and the work you did yesterday is vitally important because I think it provides a golden opportunity to swap notes and share information with colleagues around the country. And it's why I've asked for £200,000 to be set aside next year on top of the services we're already providing from the Myplace support team to help the Myplace network grow together and apply best practice. And the thing that struck me when I suggested we have an event like this was I was seeing all these examples of best practice around the country, seeing some really good stuff, engaged with local communities, but not really aware of what other Myplace centres were doing. And this is a learning exercise. We're not in competition. We're all trying to achieve the same thing in different parts of the country. And it is really important that this is the start of a close-knit networking organisation where we can all thrive by picking each other's brains. And I think together we've got a wonderful opportunity to use Myplace as a catalyst for shifting public attitudes towards the under-20s as well. Time and time again, we hear kids complaining about the way they're portrayed in the press and television. The BBC commissioned a report this year that found that 40% of young people believe they are misrepresented as being disrespectful and living unproductive and vacuous lives. A few years ago, the British Youth Council released research showing that 80% of young people believe that negative media is straining relations with older generations. And we know that I think one of the biggest challenges in society today is a bit of a breakdown in intergenerational trust and relationships. And I think that's deeply damaging. I think it's a real danger that the country can create a permanent iron curtain between the generations unless we really get to grips with this. And again, this is the sort of place where we can blur the edges between different generations. Now, I know, you know, and most parents know that the overwhelming majority of young people are responsible, hardworking, energetic young people. They're determined to make a better future for themselves and for others, and they're working hard to make it happen, often in very difficult circumstances. I know it's not easy growing up in today's world, and particularly with all the pressures around the large number of young people not in education, employment and training. And I'm not exaggerating. It's a highly credible statistic that more young people volunteer for charities and good causes than any other age group in society. A recent Ipsos Mori survey found that nearly 7 out of 10 young people volunteer either on formal volunteer placements or informally. And young people are taking action like this, positive, responsible, community-spirited action, every day. And we need to make sure that we are doing everything we can to support them and promote them through programs like Myplace, and that they are recognised for it, appreciated for it, and valued for it. So that's why I'm proud to say that the government published our vision for young people and youth services and youth engagement before Christmas, called Positive for Youth. A lot of work went into that. We spoke to many people, and then we gave the whole thing to a lot of young people at the O2 arena to pull apart and trash and give their take on. I think it's one of the most engaged with government policies for many, many years. And for the first time, It brings together in one place everything that the government's trying to do to help young people between the ages of 13 and 19, actively supporting their success and encouraging the intergenerational contact that's so critical to repairing and promoting communities. The single vision is the result of months of work with a wide range of partners, local authorities, private companies, voluntary sector organisations, social enterprises, and at least 9 different government departments and ministers, and of course many young people themselves, as I've said. Positive Youth isn't about creating something completely new. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel, but it's about highlighting and celebrating excellent practice across the country. That's why we've stuffed the paper full of examples from high-performing areas, and I hope that these case studies will help all youth services to reach the level of the best and to take examples from other parts of the country. It makes clear that there is no excuse to neglect youth services or to treat them as an easy area to make savings, as is happening in too many areas at the moment, and I think that is a false economy. Prioritising youth services and young people is the right thing to do. It's the smart thing to do. Now, one area which has proven to be crucial for young people's success in life is educational attainment. And this government has announced already and made a start on a significant programme of educational reforms earlier in this government's lifetime. And at the end of last year, we also set out a new strategy to increase young people's participation in learning and work called Building Engagement, Building Futures. We're raising the participation age for education or training to 17 in 2013 and to 18 in 2015, and we will be depending on the support of local authorities in monitoring participation levels amongst 16 and 17-year-olds and working with the Young People Learning Agency and providers to identify and fill gaps in provision. Now, as the participation age is raised, young people will need extra support. So the youth contract in particular, worth over £1 billion, will support more 17 and 16-year-olds to participate in education or training and expand opportunities for young apprenticeships and help more young people find work. Now, I envisage many of those providers involved in the youth contract working in and with Myplace centres. I've seen here some training facilities with Lincoln College. These are absolutely places where we should be encouraging facilities to train and re-engage young people who have dropped out of, have not done well in education. We should be acting as a hub for recruiting in apprenticeships and for signposting onto training programs as well. And I think my places are absolutely crucial in all of that. But education isn't just the end of it. Young people don't grow up in a vacuum, and their experiences outside school or college are just as crucial to their overall well-being. So our goal is for all young people to have supportive relationships, strong ambitions, and good opportunities. And if young people are already getting those from their families, communities, and schools, great. If not, local authorities and services like those that Myplace centres provide can step in. So that's why we're retaining a statutory duty on local authorities to provide sufficient services for young people. This duty is about improving young people's well-being, not just providing leisure activities. We're retaining this legislation because it reflects the fact that a wide range of services for young people outside of school and college can have a significant impact on those life chances. And we're currently consulting on shorter, more concise statutory guidance that will make our expectations much more explicit and pack more of a punch. Some of you, I hope, already have seen it and noted the firm emphasis it has on the importance of high-quality youth facilities like Myplace. It's important, however, to stress that we'll not be defining a minimum standard or expectation for the offer to young people in each local area. Local areas are best placed to decide on what services they need rather than central government. And when it comes to deciding what those services should be, there's an obvious way to find out. After all, anyone who buys birthday presents for their teenagers will know that they have very definite views about what they want and what they don't, and they want the receipt if you get it wrong. Our vision is for councils and young people to work together much more closely. Young people must be at the heart of planning local services, driving them, shaping them, reviewing everything that they do and achieve or don't achieve. Now, many councils are already doing this really effectively. In Sheffield, for example, young inspectors use mystery shoppers to review services for young people, from sports facilities to youth clubs and social venues, and give them a star rating or fail them accordingly. That's proved so popular in Sheffield, and I was up there recently, that now they've got lots of private companies, shops and others are all queuing up to have their facilities audited by the youth inspectors to get the star rating, and are prepared to pay for it. And that money is being ploughed back into youth facilities as well. I want, and it's set out in Positive for Youth, every local authority in the country to identify a group of young people. It may be youth mayors, it may be UKYP members, it may be youth cabinet members, it may be any or none of those, who are the voice of young people in that area, who can represent young people's concerns and aspirations in that area, and can audit how well the offer for young people in that area is, not just from the council, but from everybody else involved in that as well. I want transparency in what they come up with, and I want to collate those findings through the Department for Education as well. My ambition ultimately is to have an app which can pinpoint what local authorities, local areas are doing for young people, and to rate them as well. This isn't tokenism. This isn't about a pat on the head for the youth representative. This is about giving young people the keys to the town hall and a real powerful platform and a voice to say, this is going well, this isn't going well, we need to do better. Now, I always say it's about giving people, the young people, the keys to the town hall. When I said that, I was next to somebody from Leicestershire. She actually produced the key to the town hall. She was one of the local youth cabinet members, and they actually have access to the town hall. In my constituency in Worthing, slightly ironically, as Worthing has the highest proportion of over 85-year-olds in the country, if not in the universe, we were also one of the first towns in the UK to have a youth mayor. We're now on our 8th youth mayor. The youth mayor and other youth cabinet members sit alongside the adult cabinet members in council meetings and have a direct line in to what the council is doing for young people in that area. This isn't tokenism. This is all about giving them a real platform and a real voice. And more local authorities need to be bold enough to do that. And I want them to use Myplace centres as a forum for helping them, where we have Myplace centres as well. And I want that to become the norm rather than the exception. But I want to stress very emphatically that this isn't a competition. We don't want local authorities, voluntary sector organisations or businesses to get involved in some form of turf war. We want them to work in partnership to deliver the very best services for young people, especially those from the least advantaged backgrounds. Positive for Youth makes it clear that we should be looking across and beyond organisational boundaries, and I expect local partners to maximise the potential of Myplace by encouraging young people to take a lead on all decisions relating to their services. But one of the best examples of the value of this collaboration, I think, is undoubtedly the wonderful work that the Onside charity is doing. Inspired by the Bolton Lads and Girls Club, and I see Jerry in the audience here today, of which I'm a huge admirer, the charity has enjoyed enormous success under the guidance of Jeremy Glover, particularly in engaging local businesses in the Northwest to provide capital investment, to the point where the incredible glass-panelled youth zone currently being developed in Wigan is entirely privately and locally funded. Just as impressive in many respects, I know Onside is securing repeated and significant local council contributions towards ongoing revenue costs for Myplace centres in Carlisle, Oldham, Blackburn and Manchester, precisely because local councils have been led to understand the economic and the moral merit of supporting youngsters early before problems set in. Now, from a national perspective, we want to continue to provide support in each and every way we can, which is why I brought together 9 government departments with 9 different ministers to form the new Youth Action Group, together with 6 national charities also on the board, to help youth-proof government policy, from youth services to benefits and everything in between. And I chair that group, and I'm determined that it's going to be effective. On top of this, we're going to fund a new brokerage service for business support. We know it's vitally important for Myplace centres to have strong links with local companies, not just so they have the financial wherewithal to provide services, but also so they can have access to high-quality, enthusiastic volunteers and expertise. And I should also add, as a quick aside, that there's absolutely no reason why top employers shouldn't, in years ahead, come to value Myplace centres as recruiting gold mines, chock full of positive, engaged and talented young people who can bring real skills to their workforces. And finally, I'm delighted to say that we are heavily promoting and extending the excellent National Citizen Service Scheme, which I've been involved with for many years, which provided so many genuinely inspirational stories last year during the first pilots, and we will continue funding next year for youth innovation zones and key voluntary sector programmes. The big lottery funding, of course, ends next year, and this presents us with a big challenge in every sense of that phrase, but there is nothing impossible or improbable about providing self-sustaining, successful youth services. That's why, when we took over the Myplace programme, I asked the big lottery to go and make sure that those outstanding Myplace centres were financially viable with robust and sustainable business plans. And as a result, I think we've got a much stronger network of Myplace centres coming through. Lincoln gives us, I think, almost the perfect blueprint for success, providing not only a wonderful service, but also making ends meet, something many of the world's top financial institutions have singularly failed to achieve in the past few years. I know many other centres are doing exactly the same, and they have stories that are just as inspirational, and I encourage every Myplace centre that's opening over the next year to use the enormous expertise that exists in the network to the best possible effect. So let me finish by thanking you all once again. I think Myplace is a truly fantastic and inspirational programme, changing the lives of many thousands of young people in previously unimaginable ways. Not enough people know about it. I want Myplace to become a regular part of the vocabulary and everybody to appreciate what Myplace actually stands for and what it's capable of doing. I can assure you that this work has not gone unnoticed by the government, the media or the public, but we need to go a lot further. Slowly but surely you are changing the way this country frames young people, showcasing the very best they have to offer and pulling back the Iron Curtain between generations. And I really do wish you every bit of luck in making sure that as many of our young people as possible can take advantage of centres like this one and the other 62 that you are running and will be running up and down the country. Thank you very much.